Veterans in Politics candidate interviews. Our next interview will be the United States Congress District 1. So again, we have two candidates for District 1, and what we're going to do is have you state your name, and you get 1 minute for an opening statement. So tell them your bio and who you are. So again, who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, so that we have a mic up there, if you would please, and you have a minute. I will let you know when your minute's over, and just to wrap up your conversation, okay?
Tell me when to start.
Go ahead and start.
Okay.
Oh, hold on.
Is the green light on? The microphone?
Oh.
Press it
Yes,
there.
green. Got
You
it?
got it? Is it on?
Yes, it's on. Green.
Okay.
Can I start?
Go ahead, start. You got 1 minute.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak. My name is Joyce Bentley.
Hold it closer, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Joyce Bentley, and I'm running for the United States House, District 1. The incumbent is Dina Titus, and she has to go. I'm first generation American of Dutch Indo descent. I was born in the United States of America, where my parents legally immigrated to achieve the ultimate dream of freedom. I'm here today on behalf of my dad and my husband's father, who both in World War II fought against the Nazi regime. My brother, who is U.S. Navy, and my husband's brother, who is also U.S. Army. All military volunteers who sacrificed their civilian status in order to protect their country and their loved ones. I refuse to let the service of my...
You can wrap it up.
Okay. I refuse to let their services make it so that they can't, or their voices aren't going to be heard. And so basically, that's why I'm running for Congress. That's why I need your support today. If you can Google Joyce Bentley for Congress, you'll get more on me and my platform.
Very good. Back to somebody else. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. State your name, please.
Hello, my name is Robert Strawder, and I'm running for U.S. Congress, Congressional District 1. I'm originally from Los Angeles, but I moved out here when I was 3 years old, and I've been in Vegas over 40 years. And the reason that I chose to run for Congressional District 1 is because my parents, my grandparents, they seen the same thing happen over and over again with politics. And where I'm from North Las Vegas. I grew up on my own since I was 16, and I raised my 3 sisters and younger brother, and I'm like a mentor to my family. I have my nephew who used to be in gangs out here. He joined the Army, and he was a Ranger, and now he's graduating from college next year, getting ready to be a mechanical engineer. So I know that through the politics and the way everything is going with the military and whatnot, it is useful for people growing up in poverty, and I'm here for that, for the people. Thank you.
State your name, and you have a minute.
My name is Reuben D'Silva. I'm a teacher at Rancho High School. I served in the United States Marine Corps, did a deployment in Iraq where I was wounded, received the Purple Heart. I came back to Las Vegas, finished up my education at UNLV, went on to study diplomacy at both Yale University as well as the University of Pennsylvania, where I have a master's degree from each. And I'm running for Congress again because I also want to see some sort of change. We're all running against an incumbent here who's not present, who's not here. And on the same token, I think it's important for us to have these sort of conversations, these sort of discourses where we can have multiple voices and different perspectives, have a free flow of exchanges of ideas back and forth. And again, I'm hoping that we have a great conversation today, and we can seek to better and make democracy stronger. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. That is your candidates for Congress District 1, I believe it was, right? So we're going to start out with the panelist questions. Mr. Foust, you are going to lead it off, and panelists, you have a minute within to answer the question from the panelists. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Robert Foust. I would like to ask you, what's the #1 problem that you see in your congressional district, and what are you going to do about it?
I guess I'll go this way, okay. But I think it's really it's economic development and opportunity. You know, I live in the congressional district that is the poorest congressional district in Nevada. You know, the zip code that I work in, and is the neighboring zip code to where I live, 89101, has a per capita income of $10,000 a year. So again, I think that is one of the foremost issues that we face. Is just access to the economy, actually increasing wages, and again, allowing for that economic foundation to be built so then you can pursue other opportunities, whether it's education, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's, again, plugging yourself into the economy. So I would definitely say it's the economic issues that are being faced by so many of our people in District 1.
Thank you. Next. State your
Question
name.
again?
What's the number one problem in your congressional district, and what are you gonna do about it? Microphone.
Here.
Sorry.
Maybe
The
state
number-
your name again, please.
My name is Joyce Bentley, and the number one problem that I see is that we have a congressional representative, Dina Titus, who doesn't even live in my district. So basically, she's basically the person that's out there saying that this is what's good for my district, but in actuality, she has no clue. I don't even know where she lives, but I know she doesn't live where I'm at. So that's, to me, that's the number one problem, because there's no representation there.
Okay, I believe economics is a big position because we need development, we need job development and vocational development, and when we do that, then we can lower the crime rate. Because crime is pretty high out here, and when you're like growing up in poverty, you don't have a decision. You either hustle or you don't eat. So I feel like economics with job training, vocational training, it gives you something else to do besides do crime.
Okay, so state your name, please.
Good morning, Destiny Beavers. You both say economic development is important. What is your goal? What do you plan on doing to fix that?
I think that we have to be very equitable when we look at what areas of the district that we do develop. You know, I'm from North Las Vegas. I grew up on Civic Center Lake Mead, went to Rancho High School. I still teach there. I live in the east side of town, the downtown east side of town, which again has historically been one of the most left out parts of the state when it comes to economic development. We don't have a hospital in that part of the district, that part of the state, I'll say. We don't have any sort of opportunities to even go shopping and things like that. We have Boulevard Mall, which has been seen a severe downturn over the last 10 years or so. So again, it's actually attracting and being a champion for certain parts of the district. And again, we're seeing this expand out now. You look at Spring Valley, which has also gone through some sort of a slump. It's recovering a little bit. But again, we have to try to be those great ambassadors for the district. You know, I think one thing that Dina Titus has not done well is been a great ambassador for the city of Las Vegas. And again, I'm offering a different option. I think many people are. You know, again, to bring in those businesses, to attract those businesses, and to be the type of personality and messenger to bring those businesses back to Las Vegas. Thank you.
Did you want him to answer?
Yes.
Did you want me to answer? Well, because of my background in banking and real estate here in Las Vegas, I've gone to the comptroller's website and viewed what they call the CAFRs, which is the comprehensive annual financial reports. And with my education in regards to reading them, there's a whole bunch of mess in there, okay? So that could be utilized, the monies that are being wasted in other areas, it could be utilized in so many projects, you know, which we're not being told about, okay? That's another reason why I'm getting into this, because no one's talking about the CAFRs, which are the comprehensive annual financial reports.
Okay, like I said,
State your name.
my name is Robert Strawder, and like I said before, I feel like if we had several different vocational training and job development in the communities, like Reuben said, I'm from North Las Vegas, and I grew up around gangs. And I know that if you don't have a decision, you're either gonna hustle and rob people, or you're gonna, if you don't know any job training or anything, that's all you do. So I feel like if we give job training and educate with development, we can help our kids in the community and give them a different option. If they're not good in school, then they can do a vocational, be a carpentry or you know, painter or whatnot. And that's what I feel about the economy and everything.
Okay, so that concludes that. We have one more time for one more question, so who would like to take the next question?
Okay, a new documentary.
State your name,
Oh,
please.
Lena, Ocasio, Airforce veteran. A new documentary just came out on Facebook called The Swamp, where they followed new congressional representatives that were just elected. And one of the suggestions made of how to quote unquote drain the swamp is to have term limits. Do you agree or disagree with term limits, and why or why not?
I'll say one thing as part of my platform. I support the term limits. 12 years for the U.S. House of Representatives, 18 years for the U.S. Senate. Again, if you look at the course of American history, this has been something that we've embraced. There's been many state legislatures, state houses that have term limited their state representatives. The U.S. presidency itself was term limited through a constitutional amendment. I think we should do the same for the U.S. Congress and the United States Senate. And so I think this will again bring in the ability to take on somebody like Dina Titus, who's a machine politician, who's been here for years. It's difficult for folks to run against him unless you have a vigorous campaign like the one we've mounted. Again, this will help actually bring in fresh ideas, new perspectives, and make democracy a little bit more accessible and more thriving moving forward. Term limits are a good thing. I support it 100%.
Joyce Bentley. Yes, wholeheartedly, 100%, I believe in term limits, because the career politicians that are out there today are the ones who are benefiting off of the American people, and that's got to stop. So yes, I agree with term limits.
Robert Strawder, yes, I agree with term limits, but I just feel like if it's 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, we need change with the individuals and the way they look at people. We the people. We need people that care about individuals in America instead of the system. So I agree with the terms, but I just feel like if you do 2 years and you're just not for the people, it doesn't even matter.
Okay, with that, we're going to wrap up those questions. We're going to go back to our candidates for Congress District 1. We're going to give you 3 minutes to tell the people why they should vote for you. So you have 3 minutes. I will let you know when you have a minute left, and then we will cut that off at that minute. Thank you so much.
How are we supposed to make endorsement recommendations if you don't give us time to answer questions? They get 3 minutes to explain themselves when they have questions asked.
And I understand that, but remember, the voters need to see us, and we're short on time. And I believe me, I want this to
Well,
be.
if they don't answer our questions, how am I supposed to make a recommendation? I don't know these people. But my question is, how are we supposed to make our do our job? We're here.
Let's discuss it on the break.
No, their website says anything about them. They have questions to answer. Then you ask the people, right?
I'm going to go back to the president.
I mean, seriously, would you rather answer a question or talk about yourself?
I would rather ask
I'd
you to
rather
answer
answer
questions.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. So thank you. That's democracy at work. So thank you so much. So go ahead and answer the question.
So my question is very simple. You can just say, like a subject, make it simple. So the two Democrats, I'd like to know one thing on the president's agenda you can not necessarily you agree with, but you can actually work with.
Democrats is just one thing.
I'm sorry, are you a
I'm a
Democrat?
libertarian.
I did not know that. I apologize. My apologies.
We got a real diversity on this panel.
You know what? That's awesome. Okay, I apologize. So one thing that you could agree with the president's agenda on that you would really want to work with for the Republican, one thing you disagree with on the Republican's the president's agenda that you would maybe try to fix, and for Libertarian, you could pick either or.
You want to start with me?
Sure.
Okay, you know, I do have a tremendous issue with Donald Trump. I think, again, he's a huge detriment to our nation. But if there's one thing that I think I can get with that administration is the infrastructure spending. I know that there's been a great deal of talk about having maybe upwards to $1 trillion or so invested in infrastructure, which is something that's needed. You know, if you look at the broad scope of American history, again, every time we made massive infrastructure spendings, budgeting towards infrastructure, whether it was the Highway Acts of the 1950s, the New Deal of the 1930s, we've seen great economic prosperity come out of it. And again, that's something that I would be willing to work with any Republican on is infrastructure spending.
Could you repeat that?
So one thing that you necessarily don't agree with the president is that you would basically not challenge him, but try to get different outcomes.
Joyce Bentley, and I love President Trump, okay, first and foremost. However, The one thing that I could see as a change for President Trump is that he shouldn't listen to the fake media. So that's about the only thing I can think of. I mean, outside of that, he's doing a great job in regards to the border, the you name it, the economy, with China, Russia, you name it. So basically, I have absolutely no qualms with him outside of him listening to the media.
Okay, with Trump, I like what he's doing with the economics in the world, but like I said before, I just feel like he isn't about the people. I feel like when you've been born with a spoon in your mouth, you have a different outlook on life. If you didn't have a spoon in your mouth and you had to fiend for survival and do different things to eat and have clothes on your back, then you would look at situations differently. And I just feel like if he looks at ordinary folk like me, myself, like you guys that lives check to check, then he might have a different outcome on just different stuff that he does on Twitter and whatnot. But I like his economic strategy.
Thank you.
Okay, so our next panelist, go ahead.
I got a quick question. George Chehade here. Thank you, all three of you, for coming today. We appreciate it. I was informed, I'm in sales, I'm a commissioned salesperson with my company, and I was informed by my tax person just recently that a lot of my deductions that I've been doing for years, my cell phone, my mileage, food and entertainment, just a bunch of different deductions are going to be going away next year. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't like it at all because I'm a full-time limo driver, and they took away the cleaners and you know the glasses when you buy everything, and we really need, like I said before, it's the common folks, the people that live check to check. We barely survive with paying insurance premiums and things like that, and when they cut that, it hurts us drastically, especially in the field that I'm in.
Joyce Bentley, you have to look at the overall problems that could be fixed with, say, what's being taken away from you. Okay, well, all right, some little things being taken away from you, but then a family of 3 is going to have a dinner tonight. Okay, so you have to kind of look at the holistic part of it instead of just pinpointing things. I'm not in like with your specifics. Okay, I'm not that well versed in regards to your specifics. However, like I said, you just have to look at all of it in order to justify what's going on with you and everybody else.
Now, I'll say one thing. I think that the tax plan that has come out of this administration is not anything that's going to be working for the working people. It's a giveaway to the rich. I'll just be real with you. I just did my taxes about 2 weeks ago. I'm a school teacher. We don't get paid as much as it is. And the return was one of the lowest that I've ever had because I can't make those deductions, as Mr. Strawder mentioned over here, the way that I used to be able to. So again, if you look at the overarching plan, it's really something that has made the wealthiest of Americans even more wealthy, and it's made it more difficult for working people like myself, a school teacher, social workers, limo drivers, to actually receive some of those taxes that we used to get back, and we rely on, to be honest with you, on an annual basis. Thank you.
All right, Michael McDonald, I have one last quick question for you. Thanks for being here, guys. It's regards to, I think it's plaguing our nation. It's the root cause of so many social issues: anxiety, depression, mental illness, criminal history, mass shooting, drug use. It's family and criminal law reform. So I asked that if you guys would, if you get elected to Congress, you support HJ 121, which is a bill for equal parenting that's currently there, and then also what you could do for criminal law reform. So as we're 25% of the world's incarceration rate, yet we're the land of the free. So thank you.
Joyce Bentley, in regards to the corruption that's happening in the court systems right now, President Trump is doing something about it. Unfortunately, our president for the last 8 years, before President Trump, didn't, the vacation of, I think it was more than 150 judges that he just let go, or he just didn't seat. And so basically it's where President Trump is going to be fixing that, and it will stop the corruption in regards to all of that on the federal and state level.
So again, I'll say one thing, before we get to that, I think, you did mention taxes. I think it may be kind of interesting to see if Dina Titus might release her taxes. She called for Donald Trump to release his. I'm willing to release my taxes at any time. I'm just, I just filed them, and I think it'd be awesome to see her taxes, especially that millionaire status that I think she really has. Again, I'm a working guy running for Congress. Many of us are here are working people, and it's important to have our taxes examined for those of us running for office. So I'll say one thing about the criminal justice system. It is a tremendously complex problem. There's a great book out there written by Michelle Alexander. It's called The New Jim Crow. And she talks about how the criminal justice system and how it's become calcified into this world now that actually works against certain communities in this country. Poor people, minorities, especially African Americans. So again, we have to approach this topic in a comprehensive manner at the local level, at the municipal level, at the state level, at the federal level, and work towards making, again, our system a just system, a more equitable system, and a system that works for everybody. But yes, I do agree this is one of the fundamental problems that our nation is faced with, is a reform of our criminal justice system.
Robert Strawder. Yes, that's one thing that I really feel like I would be able to address because I come from there. I wasn't spoon-fed, and I used to be around criminals and did criminal activity. That's why I can help the kids, because I can tell them about my mistakes so they wouldn't learn, they wouldn't do the same thing, because the black and the brown, we are crucified in the criminal system twice as much as a white individual on the same crime. And I feel like we want equality. America is supposed to be equality, but it isn't. We work just like everybody else. We bleed like everybody else. I have white friends, Mexicans friends, but it's still not equal in the criminal system. And I feel like somebody like me, I can talk to Donald Trump and I can tell him, like, I live like this. This is what people that live in the projects go through, and this is why they do criminal activity. You want to kill people that do drugs, but then you have pyramid schemers, and you did the people in the loan, when the loans hit the house in the 2000s when everybody was hit, nobody suffered but the common folk. So I feel like the criminal system, we need to address the color barrier first, and everything will be okay after that.
Okay, that concludes, we got our panelists in, and we have all the questions in, so we are gonna wrap this up, and these were almost out of time, so we wanna thank our candidates for being here. And it's just like to, I'll give you 30 seconds to wrap it up, so whoever wants to go first, go ahead and state your name, and then say, you have 30 seconds to.
Gotcha. My name is Reuben D'Silva, again, running for Congress, District 1. I'm a school teacher, I'm a veteran, I'm an immigrant. Somebody who, again, especially for the Democrats, those great issues that we have made our paramount issues, I'm at the front line of all of them. Whether it's working towards making our Veterans Administration a stronger one, a more vibrant one, a more representative one, whether it's working in the great cause of public education, whether it is, again, immigration reform. I have intimate experience in all of those regards. My family is one that's also looked into entrepreneurship, expanding business opportunities for new peoples to this country. And again, I'll be a champion for all those causes. And I look, if you're a Democrat, to seek your vote in the Democratic primary on June 12th. Thank you.
Joyce Bentley. Because of my background in banking and real estate and small business ownership, I believe that I can do the job better than our current Titus. I think they call her Dina Taxes. I'm not sure, but the house itself deals with finance, and I have done that for a majority of my adult life. And basically, it's where when I get in there, I'll hit the ground running, and I could definitely do some change in regards, and especially for the state of Nevada.
Hello, my name is Robert Strawder. I'm a proud libertarian. I'm a double graduate, mental health behavior service degrees, and I just feel like I can make a change in the community because I know what the people need, and I struggle with the people, and I'm about the people. I don't do statistics very well, but I do read up on it. I just feel like with the way the system is going the same thing, whether it's Democrat or Republican, they're doing the same thing. And I feel like when you're about the people, you actually go out there and you talk to people and know what the situations are and know what they need. And that's what I will do. I will endorse the people of Las Vegas.
Again, we want to thank all the candidates. This is United States Congressional District 1. This will conclude our Veterans in Politics forum right now. And we want to thank Ron Q for sponsoring. And we want to thank Michael Broadway Real Estate and Lakeside Business Suites for having us here. So again, we want to thank our candidates and our monitors for being here and our panelists. So again, this concludes our